Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, here we go again, yet another viral moment, a crazy clip that surfaced, an interesting encounter that's bouncing all over the internet. Now, it's not the craziest clip out there. To be honest, it probably should have never gone viral in the first place, except it has this one interesting component. It has a racial component. One individual in the clip happens to be white, the other individuals happen to have a darker skin pigmentation, and so what does that mean? Cue the grifters. All of a sudden, we have another hate crime hoax on our hands. Another Jussie Smollett situation. Not even created by the kids themselves, but by the woke social justice activists. These freaking vultures who just love to take advantage of these types of sensitive situations, blow them out of proportion, completely lie about them, craft destructive agendas, narratives, and here we go again, it's that revolving cycle. Another viral Democrat hoax. More evidence to just simply add to the pile. A stack of papers so high at this point, I don't even think I could reach up there. Another example of destructive Democrat disingenuous behavior. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into. So let's roll the tape. All right, friends, so I'm sure most of you guys probably have all the details and know what's going on, but for those of you guys who aren't following, another incident happened on the streets of New York City. A video was posted of a nurse leaving a hospital, attempting to rent a city bike. Those publicly provided bicycles, sometimes they're electric, sitting in those docks across multiple different cities, when out of nowhere, she was accosted by a group of young teenagers. Here's the clip, and then we'll get into some more details later.
No, record him.
Help! Help me! Please help me!
This is not your bike.
Please help me!
This is not your bike. This is not your bike.
Please help me! Help! Please get off me!
Hey, what the fuck is going on, bro?
Please get off me!
Yo, don't not take it, bro.
Now you're not getting the bike, bro.
Hey, now you're not getting the bike.
Help!
You're not getting
Get
the
off
bike.
me,
I'm
dude.
not. No,
Why you took his phone? What's wrong with you?
Stupid as something. You're
Don't
not
touch
touching
his
my
phone.
phone.
Do not touch his phone.
I'm not touching you. You putting your stomach on my hand.
No, dude, stop. No, dude, stop. No. I said no. I said sit down.
Please help me!
She's just crying.
You're not crying. I
That's stupid.
I got
It's
you on
my
video.
bike. I'm drunk.
Wait, you pulled it out?
Hey.
Hassan, you pulled it out? Hassan,
I don't give a fuck.
Hassan, you pulled it out?
This is my bike. It's on my account. Please move.
All right, so why don't we reset the bike?
I'm not resetting the bike.
It's his.
Reset it. I'm gonna pull it out on your account.
You an actor.
I don't give a fuck. This is my
Stop fake
bike.
crying.
Guys,
He's fake crying. Stop fake crying.
Hey, stop touching me. I don't touch you.
Hold up.
Hey, stop touching me. Stop touching me.
Why don't you take this bike?
Stop touching me.
I will.
Exactly. So take
Fuck
it.
out of here.
So take it.
Your baby gonna come out with
Wait, how you stop crying?
Fuck.
Not a tear came down, miss.
Not
Not a tear came down.
Now, it's hard to tell what's going on, but you have one woman who's dressed up as a nurse. It looks like it's the evening, as if she's going home, and she gets surrounded by a group of young teenagers claiming that she stole their bike rental, that actually they rented the bike and she stole it from them. She gets visibly upset. I don't necessarily blame her. She's being intimidated and accosted. Some would suggest since they're putting their hands on her and the bicycle, she gets assaulted. It looks like that's what's happening. It could also, I guess, depending on what glasses you're wearing, look like actually she's trying to steal the bike from these young individuals who are the true renters of this bicycle. Just looking at the clip itself, it's kind of hard to really rush to judgment and come to a conclusion. Most people would look at this clip and move on with their lives and not really know what happened. Not a big deal, simply continue surfing the web. Democrat activists, however, saw an opportunity to grift like they normally do, and they crafted this narrative that she was a white racist Karen who tried stealing a bike from these young innocent children. This is literally the narrative, by the way. Here's attorney Ben Crump on Twitter, you know, one of those Al Sharpton wannabes, posting the video with a caption that writes, "This is unacceptable. A white woman was caught on camera attempting to steal, in all capitals, a city bike from a young black man in New York City. She grossly tried to weaponize her tears to paint this man as a threat. This is exactly the type of behavior that has endangered so many black men in the past." He released this video with his crafted narrative on the 14th of May. He didn't know what he was looking at. He didn't know the facts, but like a Democrat vulture, he saw his opportunity to take advantage of sensitive racial issues and blow things out of proportion and craft this ridiculously dishonest narrative. A couple days later, on the 18th of May, 4 days later, the truth comes out, and it's not surprising at all. New York City hospital, quote, Karen, paid for the city bike bike at center of viral fight with black man, claims her lawyer. The lawyer for a Manhattan hospital worker, accused of taking a city bike from a young black man, who claimed that he paid for the two-wheeler, provided receipts that he says show that she was the one who purchased the ride at the center of the viral incident. The Bellevue hospital employee, who was branded a, quote, Karen on social media afterward, rented the bike first, lawyer Justin Marino said in a statement to the Post on Wednesday. He also provided 2 city bike receipts from May 12, which were time-stamped minutes apart. The first receipt, viewed by the Post, shows the bike being taken out before it was relocked 1 minute after, which Marino said is the bike seen in the video. It makes sense. She took the bike rental off of the rack, and then the young man, you can see on the video, pushes her and the bike back into the rack, triggering the rental to be over. She then pulls the bike back out, and another rental period starts. Makes perfect sense. Who would have guessed it? This novel concept of waiting for the facts before you make public comment, before you promote and push a destructive narrative. These Democrat social justice warriors, these civil rights activists, in many cases, are simply terrible people who are taking advantage of these sensitive issues for their own benefit. Without the facts, they demonize people publicly, creating these posts that go viral and are viewed millions upon millions of times. The gullible masses reacting like this, whether she paid or not, the fake tears, cries for help, were to weaponize her privilege and endanger a black man. She should have given them the bike regardless of who paid. Her privilege in this is disgusting.
Terrain seems a bit unstable. No readout yet if the air is breathable. And there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Lies. She stole the bike and tried to get that young man murdered. She's gross. She knew to take her badge off, hoping not to be identified. And most of the people who have these kinds of reactions either aren't paying attention and don't even see the correction later on, they simply fall for the narrative, or they're so brainwashed, they're so ideological, they're so part of this social justice cult that they purposely disregard it. It doesn't even matter. You know, Jussie Smollett, regardless of whether he lied and took the whole country on this ridiculous drama, well, what he did was justified because, I don't know, white supremacy or something. Complete nonsense, copium. You have a woman here who, it's being reported, just finished a 12-hour shift at the hospital, is simply trying to get on a bike and go home, and she's accosted by a bunch of young teens, probably running this little racket where they see someone take a bike, they say, hey, that's mine, I rented it, and then they take it and ride the bike around the city on your dime. That's probably what transpired here. It was probably a crime. Not to mention the nurse, from what I understand, was 6 months pregnant. She didn't get viciously assaulted, but arguably she was assaulted, she was accosted on the streets, her movement was impeded, she was intimidated, she was clearly the victim here. Yet these leftist lunatics take a situation like this, take a victim, and paint her as a racist Karen for millions to see on the internet. It's so beyond despicable, I struggle to come up with words to really truly describe it. But anyways, you guys get that. There's one more thing that I want to cover here. The woman in the video was identified as Sarah Comrie, and one of her family members actually started a GoFundMe. There's this little interesting part that I want to cover. Help Sarah Comrie fight being branded a Karen. My name is Bob Rowe, and this past Saturday, my niece, Sarah Comrie, a physician's assistant at Bellevue, became embroiled in a much publicized incident with a city bike that unfairly painted her as a racist Karen. The facts have since proven that this is a lie, but the damage has been done. In fact, Sarah is a dedicated healthcare worker who is 6 months pregnant. She holds racial justice and equity dear. We're going to stop it right there. You're part of the problem. She holds racial justice and equity dear. It sounds nice and lovely on the exterior, but how could you be so blind? The racial justice and, quote, equity grifters are the reason this happened in the first place. You know, when are people going to realize that all of this social media activist nonsense is creating more problems than it's solving, creating this era of delusion and propaganda, all these excuses and this lack of accountability, not to mention this demonization of white Americans. She cares about racial justice. Well, caring about racial justice created a scenario and put you in a position where you became a victim of racial injustice. And the whole equity thing, okay, so you're a communist? I don't even get it. Enough with the labels and the brands and the falling for all the leftist grifts, and back to a world of basic accountability, responsibility, and common sense. Anyways, you guys get it. That's what I got for you. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.